In this lesson, we'll try to understand the concept of a price mechanism. Now, this comes under the topic of market systems, and we have already studied market system and different systems of the economy, from the mixed system to the planned economic system and free market system. So now when we're talking about price mechanism, so definitely price mechanism is something that works under the market system. So we need to understand that how price mechanism is impacted by the market system. The market system is impacted by the price mechanism. So if we look at its definition, it is that the forces of demand and supply, the forces of demand and supply determine the prices of commodity and the changes therein. So now which element is affecting what? Demand and supply are affecting the prices that are being determined in the market. So now these are the two forces that are affecting the price. So price is dependent upon demand and supply when we are talking about price mechanism or the establishment of price in the economy or in the market systems. So if we look at the graph, we see that here on the vertical axis we get to have price, and on the horizontal axis we get to have quantity, whereas the downward sloping curve is demand, and the upward sloping curve denotes supply. So now we always have to keep in mind that whenever demand, now the changes in demand and supply will affect the prices accordingly in the price mechanism. So now if we see that if there is, as the graph shows, that if there is an increase in price demand, that is from D1 to D2, we get to have, if we note it through this, we get to see that if there is an increase in price, the increase in demand would increase the price. Definitely when people are going to start demanding more of a product, so demand will push the price up. Why is that so? Because if the producers would realize that the demand for the product that they're producing is rising, and now more people are willing to buy the product. For example, may it be the change in weather, and in winters more people demand jackets. So in winters they're going to make it expensive, whereas in summers, when they know that the demand of the product is not that high, they might put the same product on sale or just provide special discounts on that product in order to get rid of the stock. So if D2 shifts, D1 shifts towards D3, that is this point, it means that the price would somewhere shift here towards the new equilibrium. So this is going to be P3. So we see that if the demand decreases for the product, then the price of the product will also decrease, because the producers will realize that now less people are willing to buy their product, so they'll eventually have to decrease the price. Whereas if we look at the supply side, we get to see that this downwards is the increase in supply. So if we move from SS to S1, we see that the price is going to somehow decrease to this point. Let's make it P2, this being the equilibrium price. This was the initial price. So now the supply is increasing, but the price is decreasing. Why is that so? Supply increasing, price decreasing, because now the producers are producing more and there's a lot of product and it's more than the demand of the product. So the price of that product is going to decrease. Whereas if the supply decreases, the supply of the product gets limited. So now at the new equilibrium price, that's P3. So now the supply decreases. As the supply decreases, the price for that particular product increases. So there's an inverse relation between supply and price under the heading of price mechanism, how the price mechanism works. So we get to see that first our equilibrium was D1 and this S0, you can say, and this was our equilibrium price, that is P1, and equilibrium price, you can also call it equilibrium price. But as the demand increases, the price increases, but as the supply increases, the price decreases. So there's a inverse relationship between supply and inverse relationship between inverse relationship between supply and price, and there's a direct relationship under the price mechanism direct relationship between demand and price under the price mechanism. So when as even if we see around that if the demand for a particular product increases, the producers would realize that now more people are willing and able to buy that product, so they will eventually raise the price of that product in order to gain more profit. This is so because always, or in majority of the cases, the motive behind a private individual working under a free market system is profit maximization. So this is how we need to understand price mechanism, and this is how the price mechanism works.